December 18th, a great day for the Constitution of the United States, a sad one for America.
Right now, an historic moment on Capitol Hill. For only the third time in U.S. history, a sitting president is impeached by the House of Representatives.
And why local lawmakers say they aren't quite ready to approve a raise for state troopers.
Plus, a new home just in time for the holidays. That story straight ahead at 10.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for joining us. The impeachment proceedings are now moving on to the U.S. Senate. Tonight, the House of Representatives adopted 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump.
Now, this is the first impeachment vote in 21 years. In contrast, President Trump spent the evening rallying supporters in Michigan. CBS's Natalie Brand with the latest.
Article 1 is adopted.
The House voted largely along party lines to impeach President Trump on 2 articles, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Democrats argue the president pressured Ukraine to announce an investigation into his political rival, Joe Biden.
We're talking about a president who subverted national security by soliciting foreign interference in our elections, the exact thing our founding fathers feared.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi solemnly opened the 6 hours of debate earlier today, which also unfolded along party lines.
His actions warrant his impeachment and demand his removal from office.
I am proud to have fought against this charade every step of the way, and I will proudly vote no today.
Republicans closed ranks to defend the president and criticize Democrats.
It's about power. Donald Trump has it, and House Democrats want it.
President Trump is only the 3rd president in history to be impeached by the U.S. House of Representatives, and a senior administration official tells CBS News the president is upset about what this will mean for his legacy.
The president railed against the impeachment at a rally with supporters in Michigan.
They've been trying to impeach me from day one. They've been trying to impeach me from before I ran.
The White House says it is ready to go however, whenever the articles of impeachment reach the Senate. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
2 Democrats broke from their party and voted against Article 1. 1 Republican voted in favor of it. Democrat and presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard simply voted present.
Wisconsin's 4 Republican representatives all voted against impeachment, while the state's 3 Democrats voted in favor. Here's what Representative Mark Pocan said.
If there were witnesses that could say the president's innocent, he didn't allow anyone to come and testify. That doesn't pass the Wisconsin smell test. That's not what innocent people do. He should be giving them a ride to come and present their cases, and that didn't happen. So I think, the real difference is no one is actually saying the president's innocent here. They just want to talk about everything else around it.
And Republican Representative Brian Stile tweeted today, the impeachment inquiry has divided the country and jeopardized Congress' ability to focus on the real issues impacting Americans.
Well, history is being made in our nation's capital. A lot of people who live in Madison watched every step of the way, regardless of age, race, or political affiliation. Many we spoke with today say they want it to be over and to just see what happens next.
I mean, all the stories back and forth, it's just too disturbing for me.
I'm curious to see how both sides frame.
I do think that there are people who aren't following it because they feel as though they don't have any direct influence on the outcome.
I don't talk about it with my family. It's just not a topic of conversation.
Of course, that only represents a small portion of Madison residents. The answers would likely differ depending on who you ask and where you ask. The Senate is expected to take up the proceedings early in the new calendar year. Be sure to stay with News 3 Now and Channel3000.com for the very latest updates along with local reaction.
Turning to weather now, a chilly night tonight, but temperatures will be back on the rise beginning tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has our first alert forecast. Gary?
Actually, Charlotte, the temperature rise has already started. I think our temperatures will only go up a couple of degrees through the overnight hours, but will be milder tomorrow. On Doppler tracking, you can see a band of light snow moving through northern Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. That's actually the leading edge of the warmer air that's starting to spread eastward across the upper Midwest. This morning, we dropped to 1 degree above zero in Madison. It's been our coldest night so far, with temperatures below zero north of the Dells. And current temperatures are in the middle teens at 16-degree readings held nearly constant over the last couple of hours. By tomorrow morning, will be around 20, and look for a high tomorrow of about 34 degrees under partly sunny skies. Later on, I'll take a look at a forecast that includes temperatures between about 40 and 45 as we head toward the Christmas holiday.
Workers with the state and UW have been approved for a raise beginning next year.
The legislative committee unanimously passed that this afternoon, but still decided to leave out a raise for State Patrol. Amy Reed joins us now to explain why. Amy?
This wasn't a surprise to State Patrol. When the agenda came out for this meeting, it was obvious they weren't taking this up. Still, people tried to convince the body to change its mind.
But I want to first of all thank you.
Proposed increases
provide services in a wide range of programs.
Of all the opinions on raises,
so we have a lot of issues trying to just cover our basic shifts.
one struck a chord with Democrats on the committee.
In a time that we are quick to lift up law enforcement and to praise them as heroes, and you have our back in this building, that we don't have your back in this instance.
This week, the Joint Committee on Employment Relations chose not to take up a recommended raise for State Patrol, though they did approve, unanimously, 2% raises for workers at the State and University of Wisconsin system. The ask from State Patrol, a 23% increase, was too high, according to co-chair Robin Voss.
I would be open to giving raises that are significantly higher than the rate of inflation, but not 20+%.
It's a move one of the negotiators for state law enforcement said he can work with, although it's disappointing.
By having lower compensation, it makes it that much harder for us to find qualified individuals that you as the citizens want out there doing the job as a law enforcement officer.
He said State Patrol is losing officers to local agencies who can pay more. What he wanted from lawmakers was to even the pay scale between new officers and seasoned vets. But now it's back to the negotiating table to find a rate Voss can agree with come January. Voss said he's looking for a number in the high single digits. We'll keep following this to see what happens. Also today, the committee rejected the governor's call for a $15 minimum wage. That was also despite Democrats and public testimony that asked otherwise.
President Obama's health care law takes a legal hit today. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals announcing a ruling that the individual mandate in the Affordable Care Act is unconstitutional. Now, the law remains in effect, but the ruling sends it back to a lower court to consider whether the individual mandate can be separated from the rest of the law. A New York State judge today has dismissed a 16-count indictment against Paul Manafort. The judge cites double jeopardy laws that protect an accused person of being tried again on the same or similar charge. Manafort, President Trump's former campaign chairman, is currently serving a 7.5-year federal sentence for finance crimes. Those stem from former special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation. The Justice Department launching a crackdown aimed at driving down crime in 7 of the nation's most violent cities, and one of those cities on the list is Milwaukee. Attorney General William Barr announcing the initiative. It's known as Operation Relentless Pursuit. Making that announcement in Michigan. The other cities included are Detroit, Albuquerque, Baltimore, Cleveland, Kansas City, and Memphis.
A new trial date has been set for a man accused of stabbing a Rock County woman in 2017. The murder case ended in a mistrial in October. 23-year-old Julian Collazo is expected to go to trial again starting on June 20th. Collazo is facing a first-degree intentional homicide charge. He's accused of killing 43-year-old Christine Skasha Lubeck and then fleeing to Missouri. 2 Rock County residents are facing charges after sneaking drugs into the county jail. But it was the way they did it that's raising eyebrows. Investigators say an inmate used a dog to sneak in a dozen of Suboxone pills. An inmate took care of the dog as a part of the rehabilitation program. They say he used it as an excuse to get outside. Well, from there, he picked up the pills, which someone else had dropped off, and snuck them back inside.
It is something that doesn't happen very often at all. So as far as changing the program, we're not going to change the fact that we have dogs and we're helping the Humane Society, we're helping the dogs, we're helping our inmates with that interaction. We're not going to change that.
The 2 people involved in this plan, Pamela Vinson and Paul Olivas, now face charges relating to delivering the drugs.
A 17-year-old girl stole a plane at Fresno Yosemite International Airport in California today in Fresno, crashed it into a nearby building. The airport says about 7:30 this morning the teen breached a fence at the airport and entered a King Air 200 propeller-driven aircraft and was able to start one engine. They say the plane did start to move, but never got off the ground before crashing into that building. No passengers or any commercial airliners were ever at risk in this incident. There were no injuries reported. There's no place like home for the holidays. That's especially true for a family in Sun Prairie. Today, Dane County Habitat for Humanity welcomed a family into their new home on Chicory Lane. The new owner, Jean Mulilikwa, is a single father, 3 kids, ages 18, 16, and 12. Jean says his attempts to qualify for a traditional mortgage have been unsuccessful. Now he and his family plan to put down permanent roots in Sun Prairie.
It was a big and long journey of hardworking, patient, meeting people, helping each other. I learned a lot from Habitat for Humanity.
Jean actually helped build the house and others in Sun Prairie, Fitchburg, and Madison. This home marks the 292nd Habitat home built in Dane County. An additional 8 homes are planned over the course of the next 2 years in that same neighborhood.
Another special surprise tonight for the Prairie du Sac man battling stage 4 cancer. The entire Sauk Prairie community gathering tonight to carol for Gene and Linda Wittenhiller. His simple wish to receive Christmas cards from around the country has gone viral. Local first responders, high school athletes, and community members all pitching in tonight. Our Jamie Perez will sit down with Gene to follow up with him and find out what all of this support has meant to him and his family. And you can watch Jamie's report Friday morning. Still ahead tonight at 10, Amazon announces an expansion of its free return program just in time for the holidays.
Plus, a new attraction to check out this winter along East Washington Avenue. We'll tell you about these domes and what they're all about after a short break.
For an accurate
There's a new activity to try this winter in Madison, a restaurant, cafe, and brewery on East Washington Avenue, opening a new outdoor dining attraction. Guests can reserve heated domes this winter at Robinia Courtyard, which is home to Jardine, Black Locust Cafe, and Madison Tap. Each secluded dome can hold 8 people. It'll feature seasonal shared plates, beverage packages. Costs $200 to rent a dome for 90 minutes. The owners will also donate $20 from each reservation toward a nonprofit selected by the guest.
A major merger is one step closer to completion. Fiat Chrysler and Peugeot owner PSA Group have signed a binding merger agreement, solidifying a nearly $50 billion deal that will create the world's third largest automaker. The company said in a joint statement today that they expect the 50-50 merger to be completed within 12 to 15 months, pending approval from shareholders and regulators. The combined company would have roughly 410,000 employees and annual revenues of $190 billion. Amazon is expanding its free return program as the holiday shopping season comes to a close. The company is letting shoppers return millions of items sold and fulfilled by Amazon for free. Now, this includes electronics, kitchen appliances, and household items that weigh under 50 pounds. For the holidays, Amazon is allowing returns on purchases made between November 1st and December 31st to be completed by January 31st of 2020. Typically, Amazon only allows returns within 30 days of the purchase date.
The Food and Drug Administration has approved the marketing of 2 new low-nicotine cigarettes. The agency made that announcement yesterday in writing. The products are the first to be approved for marketing through a new process put in place in 2009. The FDA said while it approved the new cigarettes to be marketed, it does not mean they are safe or FDA approved. The world's largest menorah is once again being installed today in New York City. It's being put up near the southeast corner of Central Park. New this year, LED rope lights are being added to increase the menorah's visibility. Organizers say they expect larger than usual crowds at Sunday's lighting ceremony amid recent anti-Semitic crimes.
Well, that's going to be really gorgeous once they light that up. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us now with a look at our forecast.
Well, no snow in the forecast. You keep saying this, night after night, but it's interesting. Dave Caulfield was doing some research and took a look at what a relatively dry December usually means, at least in terms of snowfall. We've had less than an inch of snow, actually about a ½ inch here in Madison, and that's only happened 10 times. This will be the 11th time in Madison weather history, even though December is usually the snowiest month of the year. So without that snow in December, what does that usually mean for the months after? Well, 70% of the time, January through May, the snow was below normal. So we got off to a snowy start, but now things have really settled down. And as I mentioned, a ½ inch of snow so far this year. 3 years, we had a trace of snow. 2 years, only a 1/10 of an inch of snow, and then a ½ inch this year. I don't think we're going to add very much, if at all, to that total by the end of the month because temperatures will stay above normal. Might have a mix of rain and snow, but nothing that would accumulate the day after Christmas. Doppler track, you can see how the lake effect snow bands have shut off as westerly winds now are starting to push milder air. That's the leading edge here on that little band of snow moving through northern Wisconsin. And as we look at snow depth, still plenty of snow in the northern 2/3 of the state, down to our south, snow on the ground, but not around southern Wisconsin. Last night over that thick snow cover, temperatures were in the teens, near 20 below zero through much of northern Wisconsin, mid-20s below zero across Minnesota. While here in Madison it was cold, but without that snow it wasn't quite as cold. 1 degree our overnight low temperature, which is our coldest reading so far this year. And as we take a look at current temperatures, they're still in the single digits in northern Wisconsin. Our temperatures have stayed nearly steady, but out to the west, those temperatures are climbing into the 20s, and we'll actually see our temperatures rise overnight. And by tomorrow, look for high temperatures in the middle 30s. We'll look at high temperatures between 40 and 45 beginning Friday and lasting through Christmas. No precipitation through Christmas Eve. Next chance of precipitation will be in the form of rain, probably on Christmas Day afternoon. And those temperatures well above the average high temperature, which is about 29, dropping to 27 by the end of next week. And we'll see readings in the mid-30s to the middle 40s over the next week to 10 days. As far as Christmas is concerned, average high temperature is 28, the low is 13. We've had as much as 3.5 inches of snow on Christmas in the past, but not this year, that's for sure. Live view from the Edgewater Sky Cam in downtown Madison. We've seen clouds break apart at times overnight. High today, 20 degrees, but that was early this morning. It was about midnight. We dropped to 1 degree this morning, and then our temperatures have been in the middle teens since late afternoon, and we're still at 16 now with partly cloudy skies. Winds, though, are out of the south now at 10 miles per hour, so we're expecting those temperatures to rise. Wind chill right now is at 4 degrees. Upper level winds becoming southwesterly just out to the west, so this dome of warmer air moving eastward will keep our temperatures mild beginning tomorrow and probably lasting through the Christmas holiday. There's the warm front out to the west. and really nothing in the way of storm systems behind it that will be heading in our direction. Temperatures right now, teens and single digits here. On the other side of that warm front, they're in the 20s, and that's kind of what we'll expect at night over the next few days. So look for partly cloudy skies overnight, not as cold. Temperatures steady or rising for where we are now at about 16, and then look for a high of 34 tomorrow under partly sunny skies. As we check out future track, those temperatures will rise to near 20 by early tomorrow morning. Look for partly sunny skies tomorrow, highs mid-30s. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies, temperatures will stay in the mid-20s, and then on Friday, we'll be up to around 40 degrees by late afternoon. As we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, again, mild weather right through the Christmas holiday. Next chance of precipitation, maybe a rain shower Christmas Day afternoon. A mix of rain and so possible on Christmas Day night into Thursday, but nothing that would stick to the ground. And then temperatures low 30s at the end of next week. That's still above average.
My gosh, and it is December.
It is December. Last time I checked,
it felt like it today. It was cold, but if you need the, I don't need the white Christmas. You know, that's shoveling and stuff like that.
Traveling, no problems.
Yeah, we need people to travel safely. Gary, thank you.
Thank you.
Badger defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard, he's got a pretty good sales pitch for potential signees. We'll hear what it is on National Signing Day next.
Jim Leonhard walked on to Wisconsin in 2001, so it wasn't the chance at a pro career that brought him to campus, but he made himself a first-team All-American and played 10 seasons in the NFL. Now he can sell that dream to recruits when he sells the Badgers program. Now, the linebacker position has been especially fruitful in recent years, but Wisconsin's NFL presence grows on each season on both sides of the ball. And it's a pretty good card to have when you're trying to close a deal.
You use what you got, right? It'd be like telling a running back, you know, we're okay running the ball. You know, yeah, we've had a lot of success defensively and obviously very dynamic playmakers at the outside linebacker position. So it is something where we feel like we can go in and compete with any school, you know, just because of what we provide that group and how dynamic they are in our defense.
Recruiting rule number one is usually closing the borders and keeping the best in-state players in your state. But Wisconsin head coach Paul Chryst knows that won't fill an entire class. He was in Hawaii the day after the Big Ten title game to lock up a linebacker, so he knows how to extend the borders when he has to.
You want to get guys that are a great fit, and you know, you end up doing what you're saying and taking, you know, some really good players, and so I think that's what feels good is when they come. I don't know if it's necessarily, oh, we stole one from this state, right? It's not like that. You know, I mean, the recruiting's, it's a two-way street. You know, one side, the university has to identify it, and you're this, and then it's got to fit for the kid. But we're pumped about this group, you know, in-state and out-of-state kids.
The Wisconsin volleyball program has two first-team All-Americans for the first time in school history. Junior setter Sydney Hilly and junior middle blocker Dana Redke taking honors on the eve of their Final Four matchup tomorrow night with Baylor. What would a national title banner look like? Of 332 programs, only 10 have one in their gym. Head coach Kelly Sheffield says from the fans to the players to the support from the athletic department, all the pieces are in place.
I don't think there's any secret sauce or anything. It's just, you know, let's go play a match. And if you're the last one standing, it'd be different if we were, you know, if we were so much further away. We've got everything we need. You know, we finally got experience with our players as well. You know, we've been a pretty young team the past couple of years, and we've got the experience. You know, I think we're going to go out there and we're going to give it our best shot.
Rest up, you two. It's going to get busy. Home teams 13-0 so far in Big Ten play. Spartans up 7 at Northwestern. Cassius Winston through everyone puts Michigan State up by 9. But the Wildcats come back. Boo Buie. Best name in college hoops, folks. Hits the triple. But Michigan State hits free throws down the stretch, hangs on to win 77-72. Michigan State's 2-0, Northwestern 0-2. The rest of the conference knotted at 1-1. Herman Boone, portrayed by Denzel Washington in Remember the Titans, died today after a fight with cancer. He was 84. Boone led T.C. Williams High School to the Virginia State Championship in 1971 and is survived by his two daughters. Ain't no mountain high enough, people. We're back right after this.
I don't care if you like each other or not, but you will respect each other.
All right, Gary, we're starting to see a little bit of a warm-up out there.
We're going to see it for the rest of tonight. Right now, temperatures are in the middle teens. They've been holding nearly steady. Wind chills right now have dropped into the single digits as the winds pick up. But take a look at the temperature trend over the next 12 hours. Going up, going up, going up, and into the 20s already by tomorrow morning. And look for a high tomorrow of 34, up to 40 on Friday. And then low 40s Saturday, mid 40s Sunday and Monday, and low 40s for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Maybe a rain shower later in the day on Christmas Day, mixing with a little snow Wednesday night, and ending on Thursday.
All right. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.